All right, if you haven't seen my top 5 worst summer movies of 2010, you should probably go check it out because it's going to be kind of related to my top 5 most disappointing summer movies I've seen. Now, disappointing, let me get this out of the way. Disappointing doesn't mean I hate it. It's just that before I went to go see this movie, I thought it was going to be great. But then after seeing it, I was like, meh, or kind of enraged by this movie. So let's get started with number 5, which is Boyhood. Now, Boyhood is not your typical blockbuster movie. As you know, it won many critical awards. It got nominated for a few Oscars. And I ended up liking this movie. However, why is it on this list? Well, if you've heard all my complaints about Boyhood, and you've heard that I was expecting it to be something much greater than it actually ended up being. I mean, for once, I couldn't trust the critics' reviews, really, for saying how great this movie was. I mean, it's not a bad movie. It's pretty decent, but people don't believe the 10 out of 10s or the 5 stars that the critics say. It's not that good of a movie. Okay, number 4 is Shrek the Third. Now, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen my top 5 worst summer movies of 2010, I said that Shrek Forever After was kind of a piece of garbage. And you know, the reason why I considered that movie bad was because of Shrek the Third and how much I was anticipating for this movie. Now, Shrek Forever After was kind of fell apart from what made Shrek the Third decent. And when I mean decent, I mean that in loose words, because Shrek the Third, man, was that a disappointment from Shrek 2. I mean, this movie had forgettable characters, lame jokes, a lame story, and it left you feeling empty and wanting more out of the story. Or better yet, rewrite the damn story. Instead of making Justin Timberlake the main star, how about making comedy the main star? Okay, number 3 is X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, as you know, I am a big Marvel movie fan, and I can't wait to see movies like The Avengers or Ant-Man this year. But when I went to go see X-Men Origins Wolverine, I thought to myself, really? How boring can you make this movie? I mean, there was not enough action in this movie, for one. 2, the story was easily forgettable. And 3, Hugh Jackman, I felt like he gave a lackluster performance compared to movies like in the other X-Men movies. Luckily, the Wolverine fixed this a couple years later, but I mean, X-Men Origins Wolverine, it just left kind of a bad taste in the mouth. Alright, number 2 is Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and my god, a lot of you probably saw this one coming, because you remember when this movie first came out, how it was supposed to be an improvement on The Phantom Menace, and some people consider Phantom Menace to be the worst Star Wars movie. Actually, I consider this to be the worst movie. While The Phantom Menace did have its bad moments, with Jar Jar Binks being one of them, and kind of bland acting, it was still an enjoyable, yet kind of cheesy movie. Attack of the Clones, on the other hand, had absolutely no joy to it. It had absolutely bland, forgettable characters. It was incredibly boring and just stiff acting overall. But what could be more disappointing than Attack of the Clones? What could be something that would make me leave my head scratching and just make me not want another movie in a franchise? I'll tell you what. Let's go to 2005 for my number 1 pick, which would be Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Okay, imagine you're me when you're 7 years old. Imagine that you see a promotion for a new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie, or a reboot of the original, which you loved as a kid, and you read the books, and then seeing all this candy promotion everywhere, then going to see the movie over the summer, and getting absolute garbage. Yes, Tim Burton delivers what I think may be one of his worst movies in his career. Cast Johnny Depp in it. I mean, this movie wasn't horrible, but it was certainly bad. I mean, Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka was incredibly creepy. The cast members gave an absolutely bland performance, and it was unnecessarily dark. I mean, the promotions made it look like it was cheery and bright. This movie was nothing like the original, and it just ruined another opportunity to make a sequel to it. So yeah, people, those are my most disappointing movies. Stay tuned tomorrow for my top 5 best blockbusters I've seen. And until again, this is White Rice signing off. Bye.